I'm speedy. That's kind of been an established thing on this channel for a while, so we thought, hey, why not dedicate a video to showing the techniques I've used over the years that make me as speedy as I am. So today I'll be drawing as many eyes as I can in 10 minutes with the help of Asus's new ProArt pen display monitor. The ProArt display functions as both a monitor and as a pen display, using Wacom EMR technology to feel like pen on paper. Its lightweight 15.6-inch size makes it perfect for creativity on the go, and it also includes touch gestures that don't require gloves for use. We're going to keep this video in real time so that you can see what amount of time it can generally take me per eye. Drawing challenges are fun because what it forces me to do is it forces me to put myself into a different mindset. Not only this, but I have a commission type where it is 30 for 30. 30 minutes I draw what you ask me to, and whatever you get by the end of 30 minutes is what you get. And that like really puts me into a different mindset as well when I work, because I'm like, I want to make sure that they like what they get, so I have to work super speedy. And the way that I got a lot faster, I tell the story a lot, but a really big way that I got faster was in high school. When I was younger, I focused on speed a lot, and one of the things that I focused on was like, okay, the biggest thing that is holding me back is the reliance on an eraser. The biggest thing that's holding me back is the reliance on something that can fix my mistakes, because it doesn't feel like a lot of time, but you know, taking the time to reach over and pick up an eraser and then erase it and then reach back over and then use your pen and whatever. This is like traditional, right? But even still digitally too, that amount of time like stacks. So, and like imagine like you mess up more than once, you got to keep going back and forth and back and forth, and even the same thing with like undoing and whatever. So this thing that I did, I had to use, because obviously high school, that's before I can drive, so I use a lot of public transport. And what I would do is I would sit on a bus, I would do life drawing of the people around me using a brush pen. And by using that brush pen, it allowed me to no longer be able to erase my mistakes. What that did is it taught me how to get things right on the first try. You notice I don't have a sketch layer. I'm going straight into it. We are just drawing eyes, going straight into drawing said eyes. There is no sketch. There is nothing like that. Every like line that I make, it is like, yep, I did it once, we're good. I am not undoing like crazy. I might undo a couple times, but notice I am very like, yes, we did it once, we're good. Because the less you rely on an eraser, the better you get at getting things right on the first try. Perfectionism is a speed killer. It is a speed killer, because mistakes add character to an artwork, I think. It's having things be perfect is so overrated. A lot of these lines, like you notice, none of them are like crazy perfect. I think that there's a lot of mistakes, especially I'm working with a new tablet, so I'm not as used to it. But I think that that adds character. I think it gives it more of that human touch with your work that perfection can't get you. And I love that. I think it makes things feel a lot nicer. In terms of the styles that I chose for each eye, it was less of like a, oh, this is going to be this style, this is going to be this style. It is like, okay, what am I going to draw to make this fast? Right? So a lot of these are me sticking to my comfort zone. There isn't a lot of like experimentation or anything like that. And it is not too dissimilar to my mindset when I am teaching classes or when I am working on a stream, because I will very frequently change the way that I work depending on if I have a time limit or not. It's like I mentioned straight in the beginning, it kind of gives me a different mindset. And that is no different for these guys. I really had to sort of sit down and sort of like be like, okay, I'm not going to be working in the same way that I am. I have to work in a way where I could fit as many of these in a short amount of time as I can. And in this case, it is me just sort of sticking with the formula that I know, you know, upper lid first, then lower lid, and then especially you see like most, if not all of them, have that like with the pupil, it's like the black pupil and then like the black over. Like most of them have that, but not all. But it is fast. It's a fast way of working. So like if you ever pop into a stream or if you ever pop into one of my classes, I have a time limit of that class. And the amount of time that I have per class changes depending on how long the lesson takes. So sometimes I have like an hour and a half. sometimes I have like 20 minutes, right? If I have 20 minutes, usually I'm like, okay, I'll finish it outside of class. But if I don't, if it is like I have an hour, then I have to adjust my style and adjust the way that I work in order to make sure I fit within the time limit. Streams especially, it's like sometimes you'll see me work with no pen pressure. Sometimes you'll see me only do a sketch. Sometimes you'll see me just focus on the lines and go like, okay, we're doing lines only. And that is me adjusting per the amount of time that I have, just knowing the subject matter that I will have to complete. And that is no different for this. I am like, okay, how many can I fit into 10 minutes? So I need to make sure that I'm working for 10 minutes. I am working with a new tablet. Here I am working with the PA169CDV ProArt display. It's nice. It's very, very different. You can kind of see, when I was testing it out the other day, my partner made the made the observation. They were like, oh, like I can kind of tell that you're not working on your normal tablet because your lines feel different. Like the way you work feels different. And I'm like, it's true. Like it is no different than working with like a new medium for the first time. Like say like you've been working with gouache paint your whole life and then one day you're like, okay, I'm gonna try oils. Yeah, it's still within the grouping of paint, but it's gonna feel different. It's gonna feel very, very different. Going from my normal tablet, my Wacom, to this pen is a little more sensitive. More sensitive in the way where it can get really, really thin and really, really thick a bit differently, but I have to press a lot harder for the darker lines, for the thicker lines by comparison to my Cintiq, which I'm sure is a setting that I can change. I am not the brightest and I couldn't find it, but as of right now, I'm like, I don't mind. Like, I can adjust myself to work to whatever is there. And this isn't necessarily a con either. I'm like, I kind of like that difference when it comes to this, because it does allow for a wider range of line thicknesses, which I think is cool. But no, I actually really enjoy working with this. It's very smooth. It's very sleek. The feel of the surface itself is a little smooth by comparison to my tablet. I do kind of wish that it had more grit, but I'm certain that there's some kind of like, maybe like screen protector or something that you could put on top that will give you that paper-esque feeling. Stream calls it like the ASMR when they can just hear me drawing with the tablet. And it kind of sounds like paper. The difference with this one is that it doesn't sound like that because it is very, very smooth. It feels like the surface of a monitor, which it is. So it is not super, super gritty, which I wish it was grittier, but you know, that's okay. It's not a deal breaker. It's nothing too crazy, but you know, overall it actually feels very, very nice to work with. It's one of the nicer tablets that I had the pleasure of reviewing and trying out. It's always fun when a new tablet-like display hits the market, and I'm excited I got the chance to try this one out myself. I am very picky. Every time that like I am told to use a new tablet, I'm very like, all right, I'll try it, right? But I was very pleasantly surprised with this one. I think the thing that I keep saying over and over is that this tablet is stylish. It is so like, it is sleek, it is nice, the material is so nice. My general pros and cons, it goes toe to toe with my current tablet. For those who don't know, I work with a Cintiq hybrid, and that has been my good old faithful since like 2019, but this one is actually, it's close. It's very close. It works really, really nicely. It's really lightweight, which is nice, but it also doesn't feel cheap. Like this feels like a nice, even though it's like physically light, it feels heavyweight, if that makes sense. Like it's like the difference between like a bootleg controller versus a real controller when you play games. Like this feels like a really nice, sturdy tablet. It is super responsive. The touch screen is really, really nice. It's super, super sensitive. And yet I can work on it without gloves. Like I am not drawing with this with gloves, which is really cool. Because the last tablets that I have used where it's like, oh, it's touchscreen, I have to work with a glove. And then sometimes my hands get really hot, so it heats up the glove and then it becomes touchscreen anyway, even if I have a glove on. So I have to end up working with my sleeve. But I don't have to do that for this one. I can just draw with it, which feels really, really nice. And along with the touch, the pen is also super sensitive, which is really cool because it's gestures, like the sensitivity of this pen is really nice, and it allows for very, very intense line variation going from thick to thin. You saw me doing it with the with the eyes, you can go very quickly from something super, super thin to something super, super thick, which is super, super nice. That sensitivity means a lot to me because I am the type who loves to use a lot of line variation. But a couple of cons about it. The pen isn't super ergonomic. It's one of those like kind of thin ones that I personally don't love. I wish that it was a little more, I wish it had a grip, which is something that you can buy, but because it has a button on the side, it's a little harder to find one. Setup was also a little complicated because this isn't a traditional tablet. It is a monitor with tablet capabilities. So the setup for this guy, it wasn't really plug and play. It was like, I needed to set up the touch screen. I needed to set up the pen. I needed to set up like it in response to my monitors, that kind of thing. It was a lot more setup than a traditional tablet would be. And that's also because it doesn't come with its own proprietary software. It works with your computer's settings, which means that this unfortunately is only Windows compatible. Like the touchscreen is only Windows compatible. You can still work with it as just like a monitor for like Mac and whatever, but you cannot use it as a tablet with anything other than Windows, which is a little unfortunate. But you know, overall though, I actually really like this tablet. I am going to continue to use it as my travel tablet because it is, again, is super lightweight. It is very, very portable, and it comes with a cute little case, which I like. If you're a photographer or videographer who uses Adobe software like Lightroom, Photoshop, or Premiere Pro, this monitor is designed to enhance your editing experience. With the Asus control panel software, you can easily customize your shortcuts by dragging and dropping them. It's another powerful feature that makes this monitor an invaluable tool for creative professionals. And to note that for a limited amount of time, the purchase of any ProArt display, this model included, the users of those can redeem a free 3-month Adobe Bundle subscription, which is worth over $488 USD. This is also stackable on top of existing Adobe subscriptions. You can also use promo code WingCanvas for 15% off the device. That's WingCanvas, all caps, no spaces. So thank you so much to Asus for sponsoring this video, and take a look at the ProArt display to take your creativity to go. Link in the description below. Join a virtual class in seconds and learn live from professional artists. Enjoy weekly assignments, individual guidance, and real-time feedback on your artwork so you can create like a fearless illustrator. If you learned something new, please like and share this with a fellow art nerd. If you love receiving quality and free arts education, subscribe. Here's a couple other videos you can check out next.